I have to, okay, I forgot to go live on YouTube, so I have to apologize to YouTube by giving them a brief rundown of what the hell this is. We are using roll tables and viewer ad-libbing to generate a bad light novel isekai. And we just got the title and the genre, and I've given viewers redeems on Twitch so that they may choose to force me to re-roll or to ad-lib something or what have you. All right, so we have 16 on each table, which means we need 2d8. We'll do the first table and then the second table. So that is a 1 and a 3. That's a 4. Okay, it is a grimdark. Grimdark Hidden World. I mean, we're going to append isekai to this because it's going to be an isekai no matter what. Grimdark and 12. Grimdark Progression Fantasy Hidden World Isekai. There we go. This is going to be interesting. Now, explicitly, the Hidden World posits that it is not a separate dimension, or at the very least is not one that you cannot reach from Earth. So explicitly, this hidden world is reachable from Earth somehow. Let's keep that in mind. And it is also grimdark and a progression fantasy. Any additions or changes or anything? Counting down, going once, going twice. Sold. Okay. Subgenres are complete. Now, we have to determine how you end up, how our protagonist ended up in this hidden world. Isekai methodology. So, we have 4 possible results: reincarnation, a portal fantasy, reconstruction of some means, or time travel. One of these is very confusing, but it's fine. Technically, time travel would be compatible with the hidden world. Okay, so let's remember that. So that's going to be a D4. Here we are. 3. Reconstruction. So the sudden plop. When I say reconstruction, what I mean is well, that's the question, isn't it, Mono? We'll find that out later. When I say reconstruction, what I mean is it is technically a form of reincarnation, but it is distinct from reincarnation in that the user at their current state in more or less their original body wakes up there. So they're not born into another body, a normal inhabitant of the world. They are plopped into this world. Reconstruction. Yes, it is an intervention of some kind. Whether divine or otherwise, we will find out. So the reason for the isekai. This is why they got isekai'd. We have mission-oriented, they thought it would be funny, pity, profit, 2, insert emotion here, to die. Oh, that's a wild card. It doesn't have to be an emotion, it's a wild card. Or 6, random chance. Don't forget that you can force me to add a wild card to anything. We're going to roll this on a D6. Two, they thought it would be funny. Okay, that's fun. Blank thought it would be funny. Now, who did it? We have divine intervention, a wizard or equivalent did it, natural phenomena or unnatural phenomena. Okay. Let's roll a D4. I also realized we didn't determine our genre trappings, so that's still up for grabs. Is it sword and sorcery? Is it high tech? We don't know. Number 4, unnatural phenomena or parentheses, uh-oh, shit's fucked. So this implies that, this is a tough one. This implies that something is going wrong with the world, but paired with thought it would be funny is vast implications. So we'll put something thought it would be funny. It is not a god, and it is not a mortal mage or a tech wizard or a scientist or something. It is not a natural phenomenon. It is unnatural. Something thought it would be funny. Great. Now for the scope. There's a couple places in here where we're setting up the synopsis where there's no, by default, wildcard, but again, you can use your point buys. So the scope is the scope of the story, and it essentially determines how ambitious the story is. What the fuck? It determines how ambitious the story is in its execution and its setting definition. A hyper-focused story takes place in a very small location and doesn't do a lot of grand sweeping like politics or great wars or whatever, whereas an unspeakably vast story is all over the fucking place. Really ambitious, hard to plan, that sort of thing. We're gonna roll a d6 for that. 5, ambitious. So we're talking Game of Thrones level ambition here. So the story takes place in either a large area or it's very complex with lots of... Oh, reroll? Okay, let's reroll. It's still a 5. I mean, I guess that's that. The dice have decided. Okay, the scope is ambitious. Ambitious. There's a lot of intertwining plots, and there might be multiple characters. That informs us we might need to make a larger cast, more antagonists or supporting characters, or maybe a deuteragonist system. We'll figure that out later. Now, critical reception. This is where it starts to get pretty fun. This is how the critics thought of it, rated it, and reviewed it. This gives us insight into how well received the story was by those who are responsible for reviewing it. Now, critic versus audience, meaning people who do it for a living versus amateurs. Okay, so we have 1 to 8, with 1 being the worst and 8 being the best. Let's see what they got. How was the story to the critics? How did the highbrow people, the experienced people, think this story went? Average. Oh, that's rough. Okay, so people didn't think this story was especially special or very bad. It's roughly average, which is a shame, but hey, sometimes the critics decide that. Now, let's see what the audience thought of it. The audience thought this story was trashy. The critics were more fond of this than the audiences were, which indicates to me that it may be either pandering or more highbrow than most people think, or people get the impression maybe that it's pretentious. So that's something worth keeping in mind. Oh, that's interesting. See, when it comes to this type of genre, it's rarely liked by the audience. Sorry, it's rarely liked by critics if it's not liked by the audience. That's unusual. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. We can deal with that. Now, here's the clicker, the catch. Bleh. Popularity. We got at 1 least popular, almost nobody knows about this, like 6 people have read it. To 8 Genshin Impact levels. That's our range here. Let's roll a D8. It's an obscure tag on Tumblr. I would call this one a cult classic, but only with the critics. Oh, let's take a quick ad break. It's a cult classic, but only with critics who think it's a shame that it didn't do as well as it had the potential to do. That's kind of painful. Let's go ahead and hydrate and stretch. That's kind of painful, actually. Oh my God. Let's start some new music. Okay. Oh, stretch. Stretch. Oh. Okay. Oh, sorry, I forgot I was up. Okay. My bad. Not that you'd complain. All right. God, okay. This is going interestingly. I'm gonna wait to continue until we have the ad break ending. Ugh. My fucking legs. All right. Now here's the thing, as sort of like a meta commentary in this. I think it's going to be weird to have the results be middling. And we're kind of just drifting towards the middle a lot. Extreme results are more entertaining, but there's something compelling about something that someone thought was like disappointing in a way. Also, how do the critics rate it above the audience? You want to do that? I can do that. Okay, bump a roll. All right. It gives you a little more control, and we'll put a time down on that. We'll put it at +1, and we'll put it at 200 points. And we will put it at, yeah, 1 minute. 1 minute cooldown. Yeah. Oh, hey, welcome back from the ad break. We're just putting a bump roll +1. There we go. With a 1 minute cooldown. Great. And we're going to make a bump roll -1 with a 1 minute cooldown. Okay. 1 minute cooldown. And we'll put that right there. Okay. 200 points. Okay, those are both added. I'm not going to add sound effects to those because I don't need to. So, you know, we'll just do that. All right. Now, where were we? So it is thought of as average by critics, but the audience does not have a good view of it. It's one step above terrible. So something has gone wrong with this. Maybe it's the people who are reviewing this, despite its lack of popularity, considered it wasted potential. And maybe it's like reviewers on the comment section. So the roll we just got was popularity, and we got has an obscure tag on Tumblr. So if you'd like to bump that or change that, now's your chance. Going once, going twice, going 3 times. Sold. Okay. Obscure tag on Tumblr. Okay. Now, was it ever completed? This thing, did it finish? Did it extend beyond its original? Or did it get aborted prematurely? That's what we're checking right now. So this is a D6. Let's roll it. 6. It is a media franchise. Okay. So that is incompatible with popularity, which means we have to re-roll popularity. Incompatible rolls, you have to re-roll. But the minimum media franchise would do, I think, is trending topic. Unless we say, okay, unless we say this is current popularity, and this is something that was made like decades ago. Do we want to do that, the latter? Or it might be obscure in the US. Okay, well, let's be real. DBZ, still media franchise. Yes, Z. Anyway, tell you what, I'll re-roll popularity once, and if it goes with a similar result, author's pet project, they don't care about popularity. Okay. Yeah. So we have to re-roll one or the other. Which one are we re-rolling? The popularity or the completion state? Popularity. I think so too. You're just yes. Phineas says yes. All right. That's a D8. 4. It's a trending topic. Okay. This indicates to me that it has a lot of upfront investment. People think that this is going to be the next big thing, and investors are jumping on the licensing. They're jumping on it as soon as possible. Interesting. That's compatible. Homestuck, oof, oof, ah, ooh, e, ah. All right. So the story has finished, and they have launched spin-offs of this. Maybe the story just finished, like an up-and-coming new author, or a work by a prestigious author, and the average audience thought it wasn't very good at all. They thought it was pretty bad, quite bad. But the critics thought it was good. That indicates to me it's either a connected new author or it's someone with legacy respect. I think it's probably the latter. Yeah, there you go. Nasaverse, they've got a fucking Girls Front Line character in there. Like, crossovers, okay? Now, we've completed the meta information about the work. Now we move on to the setting. So, the setting core construction, what do I mean by this? Also, I realize we don't have any genre trappings. I think we need to roll primary genre again, regardless. So I'm going to do that. And if we don't like the result, we don't have to keep it. But if we do like the result, we have to keep what we get. So D10. 9. Wuxia? All right. Okay. There we go. I don't think this works as a wuxia. That's a historical drama. No, I'm sorry, that doesn't work as a wuxia. Because it's hidden world grimdark progression fantasy. All right, I'll leave it alone. We'll describe. We'll figure out the genre later. Okay. Oh, what's up? Let's move this over, by the way. This and window capture. Here we are. Uh-oh. There we go. Well, wuxia's historical drama, essentially. There's some drama in the wuxia. You know what? I mean, that requires time travel unless it's like, you know what? Let's check the setting. Let's do the setting first. We'll use the setting information to round out how this even works. So now we're going to figure out how the world is made. So the setting core construction is how carefully and meticulously planned it is. We're about to roll 1d6, and this determines how much work the author put into it, with a surprise result of blatantly plagiarized. Oh my god, it's blatantly plagiarized. Okay, got it. So this is a blatantly plagiarized setting from at least one work, but we're going to figure out how many and what works later. That's going to influence both our genre and our feel and vibe of the material. H-Bomber Guy is all over this. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon in Babylon does actually sound pretty sick. We do know that people in ancient societies were way more mobile than the average person assumes. So, you know, we'll see. Okay. So next is the way the world is designed. Does it take place in a very small area, or does it take place in an entire multiverse? This could fuck us up royally and turn it into like an pocket dimension kind of thing. Let's see. World scale. We got 1 to 10. 1 being just a little village, and 10 being a multiverse. Here we go. 9. It's an entire universe. It's a pocket universe. Pocket universe. There are portals in ancient Babylon to a pocket universe wherein entire separate cultures exist. Got it. They have to be... Okay, so because our isekai reasoning is unnatural phenomenon, there are dimensional tears in ancient Babylon that are leaking people into a pocket universe. Okay, and because it's wuxia, either the receiving culture on the other side is wuxia in nature, or we have a wuxia protagonist from ancient China traveling through ancient Babylon. We'll determine that based on our protagonist. Now, I'm not gonna lie, my assumption was that the protagonist was modern day. We're gonna have to like reconcile this somehow, but it'll be fun to do so. All right. Next, the creativity of the world. Now, because it's blatantly plagiarized, the creativity is gonna be based entirely off of its source works, but what we're determining here is how creative the author was with their own original elements. So if they blatantly plagiarized it, but it's refreshingly unique, that means they took a premise that someone wasted and ran with it. Okay. Creativity, 1 through 6. 5, refreshingly unique. They borrowed a premise that existed in a previous work that they thought flubbed it and ran with it on their own merit. Okay. An interesting image is forming of this work. I don't know how to describe this work. This is a weird one, but I do think it could be really fun. Now, the twist. There's always a twist. This world, this setting is going to have an unusual twist that is going to blatantly alter the landscape in a way that makes it not familiar to us. We got to roll a d12. Let's take a look. Two, one big biome. So this world design is made up of one climate, one biome. What is the biome? Ancient Babylon. Wouldn't be legal plagiarization, but everyone knows the primary influence. Absolutely. And maybe the original author is not someone people liked or is already dead. So, well, okay. Ancient Babylon, Wuxia. Maybe, was it arid back then? No, it's on a pretty big river delta area. Uruk was, oh, actually your idea? What are you replacing with one big, oh, Savannah. It's set in a giant, seemingly never-ending savanna. In fact, it's a pocket universe. So either the entire world beyond it in the size of a universe is all savanna, or at least this planet is. Interesting. What do you think? Never-ending savanna? Like infinite savanna? Endless? Forever? As far as the universe spans? Fuck it, infinite savanna. Okay. Got it. Infinite savanna. Yes. Is it flat or is it a Mobius strip? Fuck it. I'm doing that. Mobius strip savanna. Mobius strip infinite savanna. It is never ending. It does not stop fucking ever. It is just infinite. That is so fun. Okay. Why is that underlined? Klein Bottle Savannah. There you go. There we go. That is so weird. I like it. Blatant author influences. This is a fun one. This one and the next one are very fun. So we're going to roll 4d20. We take each of these results. If you roll 20, that's a wild card. Blatant author influences. Let's go. These are the works that influence the author so hard that they have a foundational taint on the entire work. And yes, John Wick is in there. And I don't know what that's going to look like if that rolls. We have 3, 19, 10, and 15. So 3, 10, 15, 19. Spaghetti Westerns. Okay. Spaghetti Westerns. 3, 10, 15, 19. 80s American action movies. Tumblr. And Ghost in the Shell. Does anyone want to tell me what that looks like? What does that look like? Spaghetti Westerns, 80s American action flicks, Tumblr, and Ghost in the Shell. What is that? I mean, sure. Why not? But like, okay, so Spaghetti Westerns. Spaghetti Westerns had a focus on fights between good and evil, They were very character driven, but their stories were rather simplistic. And looks like Westworld. Hi, Iris. 80s American action movies. So it's got periods of high, extremely violent action where the protagonist is mowing down mooks. Tumblr, it's okay. So I think the Tumblr element is going to be obscure historical truth. Very obscure historical truth and fun facts is the Tumblr elements, along with potentially weird in-jokes. And from Ghost in the Shell, like pro-military propaganda, you think? Along with 80s American action movies? Okay, Ghost in the Shell has some, unfortunately, militaristic neoliberal propaganda, along with 80s American action movies having the same. So it's got to have some underlying influences of political intrigue, high action, good versus evil, lone heroes taking on institutional villainy. And the Ghost in the Shell would modify spaghetti western, good and evil is geared. Okay, lone heroes taking on what appears to be institutional villainy at first glance, but the matter is extremely gray. And yes, the bad guys are a thinly veiled reference to some political entity. Or a series of events. Okay, okay. I need to write that. That's complex. I need to write that down. Story heavily involves lone heroes taking on what appears initially to be... We're going to write a review at the end of this, by the way. Initially to be... Let's see here. A simple corrupt institution. However, as information is revealed, the matter is shown to be significantly more morally gray and complex than initially thought. Veiled political propaganda is rampant, especially of the neoliberal variety. Capitalism is not questioned in the slightest. Okay, got it. That is a whole thing. So spaghetti westerns also had strangers being a huge element, right? Lone strangers. Lone wanderers. There we go. Okay. To be simple corrupt institutions and figures. All right, that's interesting. That's weird. That's fun. All right, we can do that. All right. Now, here's a fun one too. So those of you who have read a lot of light novels may know very well that because light novel authors are frequently web authors or new authors or authors who are looking to do more self-indulgent work, which is nothing wrong with that, it's just true, they often include a lot of author appeal. Author appeal being things that they really enjoy having in the story simply because they like them a lot, rather than because they're good for the story. We have 20 options for blatant author appeal. There's range. All of them, I think, are interesting. Let's amend that. Let's roll 4d20, and this is going to determine like the tone Yes, exactly. Like, for example, the Ghost in the Shell author loves robotics and firearms. Fucking loves robotics and firearms. Slavish levels of detail. Just like, oh, good stuff. Let's see what we got. So we have 7, 12, 13, and 15. High quantities of hunks, twinks, or bears. Okay, in any combination. Blames architecture, yes. Blatant author appeal. Frequent and high quantities of hunks, twinks, or bears. That is 7. We have 12. Audience cutting levels of edginess. Audience cutting levels of edginess. 13. Oh boy, okay. Overly ruthless MC. Overly ruthless protagonist that obviously needs lots of therapy. And big ladies. No, 15. Okay, 15. Rare but tiresome instances of surprise misogyny. Okay, this is tracking with the neoliberalism. Maybe that's why the critics were more tolerant, because the critics are more old school, but the audience was less permissive. Yeah. Wait. Is that okay? Is that the one with the elf who really loves French fries? Because that one rules. Okay, got it. Well, there's one where it's like a reverse isekai with like modern day fantasy. Ruri rocks. Modern day fantasy, like just like fantasy races are just coming through, and they really love food. Interesting. Oh, height difference. Okay, got it. You know, I see it. All right. Does anyone want to make a reroll on the author appeal? Or do we want to continue? Going once? Going twice? Going 3 times? And... okay. Reroll. Let's see here. We have 9. They really want the overly ruthless MC. 7, 9, 10, and 13. All right. Still got the hunks. They really want the hunks. 9. Highly specific hair colors. Now, when I say highly specific hair colors, what I mean specifically is this is not, oh, there's fantasy hair colors, like someone has green hair, someone has blue hair. It means that, like, the author obviously has a fetish for blondes, or, like, brunettes, or redheads, or the author loves purple hair, or something of that nature. 7, 9, 10. Elves somehow. There's just elves. Somehow. Sorry. And overly ruthless MC that needs a lot of therapy. Hey, no misogyny. We took the misogyny out. That's nice. Okay. We're forming an interesting picture here. So that's the blatant author appeal. We have completed the outline of the core setting. This is weird, but frankly, I would not have it any other way. I think that's fun. I think the weird is the fun part. So we're gonna keep everything we got so far, and let's continue. You can still see this on the side because I'm not changing this. Not you. There we go. I have to change that. I have to switch over the tab to the character profiles. So we are going to roll our protagonist, followed by an antagonist, and a supporting character. If we would like to go back and add more, we can go back and add more. So don't worry about that. Now, to be clear, when I say main character or protagonist here, I mean the individual character that forms the anchor of the story. It doesn't mean there can't be multiple protagonists, but this is the primary protagonist. Okay, so first off, we start with age. This is where it can get wacky. We have Babby Adolescent. That's someone who's like 8 to 12. We have mid-teens, someone who's like 14 to 17. This would be like shonen. We have young adult, adult, middle-aged, and senior. Yes, senior, as in 65 plus. If we get the first two results, I'm just going to let you know right up front, that is going to eliminate some options later on. Not a lot, but some. So if you want a reroll on that, it is a good time to pop it. We will have to see. Oh, you saw an Isekai? Oh, that one where he's like come back from. Okay, yeah, that was painful. It's good, but it's, oh god. Here we go. Protagonist. What is their age? Let's see. They are, let's see, D6 roll. They're like 7 to 11. Do we want to re-roll on that with a redeem? I'm going to take it if y'all want to run with it. Okay. I thought so. But if y'all want to run with it for the challenge, we can run with it. 6. They're senior citizen. They're 65 plus. Let's say they're 68. 68-year-old. Okay, great. Now, gender. Hey, Kaori, how you doing? The protagonist's gender. They are 68 years old and they are whomst. Male, female, non-binary, agender, some sinister fifth thing, reroll and they're intentionally lying about it, or explosion dice, or gender plus the platinum package. Don't ask me what that means. I have no fucking clue. But if we get it, we take it. That's my fiat right there. If we get that, we take it. So let's roll a D8. Six. Reroll and they're intentionally lying about it. Got it. 1. This is someone who is disguising themselves and presenting as male, but they're explicitly lying about it. That's their gender. I'm just going to refer to them with they, them pronouns because I don't have any better options. Okay. Now, whether this means this person is trans or it's a woman that's disguising themselves or what have you, I don't know. We might never know. I encourage you to headcanon it. Let's see. I will say one thing. There's only one thing this does not mean. This does not mean they are a trans man. Because that's not lying. That's just being a man. It's the only thing they're not that we can be sure of. Let's see. Okay, so they might be nothing. They might be double agender. There you go. We have no fucking clue. We have no clue. Like, it's a character that they never confirm the core gender of, ever in the story. The story never confirms it. So, original job. This is what they did in their original job. If we decide that this is taking place in the distant past, then we'll do the next closest. If we decide that this is modern day and they get torn back into an ancient kind of world, then it works just fine. Whatever the case, it is explicitly they are from Earth because of the hidden world attribute. So this is a D12. We still haven't gotten an explosion dice once. That's interesting. Excuse me, mic stand. 11. They are a wealthy heir. Occupation. Wealthy heir. Now, since they are 68 years old, most certainly they have already come into their money. So being a wealthy heir has defined their life, their entire life. Maybe they're a wealthy heir to a massive company, like a mega corporation, or like maybe they're an heir to a political dynasty. But either way, they're extremely wealthy, and they have been that way for a while. And their skill set might include subterfuge, diplomacy, negotiation, things of that nature. Okay, great. Now, how good were they at their job? We have 1 to 8. 1 being complete dog shit, or 8 being essentially a demigod. So that's going to be interesting. Come on now. Thank you. 1 would be so funny. Oh yeah, just completely fucking bumble shitting all over the place. Let us take a look and determine 2. They're kind of lost. They've been, okay, they've been listless. They have been directionless, and they have just coasted off of their money their entire life. They're a Nepo baby to the extreme in that they never had to work. Maybe beyond their younger years, they never had to work a day in their goddamn life. They're so rich that beyond their early adulthood, never wanted for anything. And maybe that makes them feel lost because they've never had to struggle. I'm forming an image in my mind of this protagonist. Are you forming an image? There you go. They're masculine presenting, but we don't know what their character design is like. We'll have to see. New paths. Did they used to work at Blizzard? Ooh. The C-suite had someone managing them the entire time. Yes, Dr. Phineas, I like that. So they're like technically like a CEO, but they're a non-working CEO. They have an office and they sometimes spend a couple hours a week in there, but they can tell by their old age that they've never, well, we don't know if they could tell, but by old age, they definitely, no one relied on them for anything. Okay, new paths. So this determines what happened when they got isekai'd into the next world. Did they stick with what they knew? Did they embrace a local profession? Or did they blend their knowledge together? I can't imagine what hybridizing would be for this character, but it probably looks something like using their unimaginable wealth in some capacity. Or maybe using what they learned as being a figurehead CEO. We don't know. 4 is a wild card. If we roll the wild card, or if you use a wild card redeem, you just put whatever you want. Okay. That's a D4. It's a 2. They embraced a new path. Post-isekai occupation. What did they end up as? So when they got torn into this new world, entered the portal, this rip in the dimensions, because some entity thought it would be funny. What did they take? So we have some expanding paths here. Adventure, theocratic, institutionalist, and government institutionalist all involve them rolling on a new table to determine what kind. Oh, it's going really interesting, Kren. We have a 68-year-old, a wealthy heir who's completely incompetent, never worked a day beyond their early adulthood, and has been torn into a sort of Babylonian-inspired wuxia infinite Mobius strip savannah. Just what? Yeah, are y'all forming images? Because I'm forming images. Anyway, post-isekai occupation. What did they do once they fell into the new world? What did they embrace as their new path? Let's see. We got a 1d10 here. 10. Explosion. Okay, they're a hybrid. They're a multi-path. They're multi-class. All right. So we roll 2d10. 1 and 4. They're an adventurer, which means we roll on the adventurer table, and they are a social climber. Okay, so they are adventurer, social climber, and what is their adventuring focus? What did they rely on to be an adventurer? What got them through, I don't know, maybe dungeons or the equivalent? What got them through combat with monsters, etc., etc.? 6. They're a magician or mage or something equally equivalent. That means we have to decide the genre now. Okay. What? We have to go back. We have to go back. All right. Excuse me. Sorry. Compiled thoughts. We have to go back. So we rolled wuxia, which typically involves some level of resemblance to historical China. We need to roll again, and we need to limit it to what our genre aesthetic is. So 1, 2, so it's fantasy, sci-fi. Okay, I have to improvise. Fantasy, sci-fi, or historical fiction for our aesthetic. That 1 to 3, 1 to 3. So we're gonna roll a 1d6. 1 and 2 are 1, 3 and 4 are 2, and 5 and 6 are 3. We could substitute. Do we want to do Shancha? And okay, it is an infinite world. You know what? That's reasonable. It's got to be Shancha. So it's got to be cultivation, magic, etc. It just has to work that way. That makes the most sense. Okay, it is a fuck, not that. Compiled thoughts. Okay, it is a grimdark progression fantasy hidden world Shancha cultivation isekai. That's our tags. All right. So this guy is a cultivating magic user. Which means cultivation mage, I guess. Cultivation mage, sure. Oh yeah, that's isekai, baby. So he's an adventurer who found a talent. Well, we don't actually know if he has a talent yet, because we have to roll in his skill. I forgot to make that table. We'll just roll in job skill level again. Party magicians did well. That's what we're gonna figure out when we roll on the skill. But we can say that one of his hobbies was party tricks, and that inspired him to embrace actual magic. So number 1 through 8. How is he as a cultivation mage? 4. He's professionally capable. He's not doing bad. He's found his calling. The first thing he's actually really good at. He's not an expert. You want me to re-roll? Okay, got it. 4. He's still professionally capable. This is the second time this stream that has happened. You know what, let's see what we get. And if it's funnier, it's a 4. The dice are telling me to shut the fuck up and keep going. That's the third 4 in a row. Dice are like, shut the fuck up, keep going. That's like a 1 in 10,000 odds, by the way. Okay, he's found his calling. Something he's satisfied with pursuing and he's pretty good at. Skip theocratic institutionalist, skip government institutionalist. Oh, okay, we already had it. I actually did make the table. Personal motivations. Here's the thing. We are determining what motivates him in this new world. What keeps him going? What keeps this guy going despite all the hardships? Because he can't rely on his wealth in this new world. He can't. He has to rely on his skill and his wit. So let's see. It is going to be 1 to 10. Nine. He wants knowledge. He wants to learn. He wants to learn more about this new world. Seeking knowledge. He has not... Okay, that's also experience. That's also seeing sights. That's also trying new things. He wants to actually live. For the first time in his life, he wants to live. He spent his entire life wealthy, but he found out just before he got torn to this new world that his entire time they've been coddling him and patronizing him his whole life. None of his ideas have been implemented, and he realizes he doesn't know shit. So he's going to take up this new life, and he's going to learn as much as he can and develop experience and wisdom. That's interesting. All right. Now, I want to remind you, one of the traits of this story is overly ruthless protagonist that obviously needs lots of therapy. He has turned it into an inferiority complex that he takes out with ruthless violence. But he's not so skilled that he's invincible. Interesting. Okay. Ruthless violence. He just wants to fucking live, but everyone around him for his entire life treated him like a child, and he's sick of it. So he takes it out on everybody he gets to take it out on. He's also a social climber. So if he gets a rival in his way, he decides to himself that no measure is too much to achieve what he wants. So let's append that. Ambitious, ruthless social climber. Okay. Personal motivation, seeking knowledge and new experiences. So he wants to be unrestrained and unfettered. So we don't roll an ideology because he's not motivated by ideology. We have 2 tables for unique quirks. So we're going to roll once on each table, or more if we get exploding dice, for the things about this character that make them unique from other characters with similar backgrounds. I mean, they're already pretty goddamn unique, but hey, whatever, right? Quirks. Quirks. There we go. Sometimes Obsidian's a little weird sometimes. Number 1. 11, 12 at the same time. Always lies and never lies. Just refuses to communicate in any coherent cement fashion. All right. Let's see. So we're going to roll 2d20. Let's just roll them one at a time, actually. It just bounced. Oblivious. Okay. This is weird. Let's see. Oblivious and... It's the same table, excuse me. Here we are. Oblivious and, let's see here. 7. Constantly aggro. Okay, that actually fits with the ambitious and ruthless aspect. He feels still lost. He knows he wants something, but he can't figure out how to fucking get it. He's also oblivious to social cues, which makes the social climbing very difficult. That's interesting. All right. So he's kind of petulant at times. With people he likes, he's just petulant and a bit snippy. With people he doesn't like, he fucking kills them. Yeah, that's what he's doing. He's social climbing through power of intimidation and fear, or he's trying to. He's always going to flop at the actual social climbing, but he's still ambitious socially, so he ends up having to resort to murder and subterfuge constantly. This is an interesting protagonist. All right. Next, what is the complication that he ran into? So this is an interesting one. I'm using he, him pronouns because he's presenting as male, and I'm forming a picture here. And again, I would notify. Oh, have a good one, Bimbo. Good to see you. Okay, I'm gonna leave that up there. If he were a trans guy, I would not put parentheses lying. I would just put male. This is about presentation. Gender, not biological sex. So he's explicitly lying about his presentation at all times. Always. So the complication is that why he's always aggro? Because he can't talk anymore? The complication is, let's see here. 1 to 6 with exploding dice. I'm kind of looking forward to the new form option. Let's see. 4. Trip the light, fantastic. Okay. He is constantly hallucinating. Bump roll -1. He's mute. Okay. So you're telling me this protagonist to socially climb, his first attempt always involves going to some sort of social function or setting up a meeting through someone else or whatever, and then he just sits down across from someone or stands across from someone and he just like... he just stares. And then he might write things down or act or mime things out if like prompted, but no one can fucking figure it out. Oh shit. I have a perfect idea. Mute, but thinks he's talking normally. Mute, but thinks he's talking normally and no one is responding to him or understanding him. So when he thinks he's talking, he's miming things or making facial expressions and his mouth is opening, but no one speaks the language, so they can't read his lips. And he's no sound is coming out. He's inaudible to others. He's under the influence of a curse. Cursed. And that traces back to, hang on. That traces back to some entity thought it would be really funny. We rolled that he's there because someone thought it would be really funny. And that something is not a god and not a mortal. So some creature, some eldritch being thought it would be hilarious if they snatched this guy up and stuck him in the infinite Mobius savannah to be a cultivator mage, but it's grimdark. So he's just utterly ruthless and the society is fucked up and everything kind of sucks. And he's under a curse as part of the funny little prank. John Chiso's got to be sects? Yeah, sect elders. Yeah, the blatant author appeal. Lots of hunks, twinks, or bears. Highly specific hair colors. Elves somehow. So it's Jancha elves. And a grimdark protagonist. This is going somewhere. And I don't know where the fuck it's going. We still have a lot to go through. We still have so much to go through. All right. Mute, but thinks he's talking normally. Oh, just an Okay, so they're not mortal because they've ascended beyond mortality, but they're not divine. They're sort of a demigod. And they become so powerful that they can reach through the plane and tear a hole in it and then just grab somebody at random because they think it's hilarious. That's a good idea. We'll start with that idea, and unless it becomes impossible, we're gonna go with it. Okay. So the new form, by the way, was close to original, basically minor changes visually. They become an animal, or a humanoid creature, or a monster, or they become a place, or they become an inanimate object. I thought that was funny. Now keep in mind, one of your redeems options is you can force me to roll again on a given table without discarding the existing result. I'm just saying, if you want to add another complication, I'll let y'all. Someone's just got to buy the redeem. Now that does prevent you from buying the new redeem for the next 2 minutes. But, you know, if that's a chance you want to take, I'll let you take it. You know, think about that how you want to think about that. Oh, okay. You're forcing a wild card. Would you like me to roll again? Second complication. Okay. 1! Yes! New form! Okay. So, I went through the options. Let's see what we got. Okay, close to original. So there's a minor visual change to his form. Does he change to an elf? Or maybe he changes this to something else? Or maybe some aspect of his physical appearance has changed? Or something is added? Or removed? Well, actually, you're saying that would be somehow elves? You're saying that's going to take the place of somehow elves? Is that he's the only elf? Okay. All right. Somehow he's an elf. So he's got large pointed ears, and his lifespan has just suddenly drastically increased. So the thing that thought it would be funny, maybe that sect elder, made forceful modifications to his body to make sure he didn't just croak of old age and he could actually keep going. So he has a more youthful appearance and pointed ears, and maybe he's like more lithe and handsome, but he still can't fucking talk. Maybe it's a complication of the forceful change. Yeah, so he looks like he's 20-something years old, but he can't do what he wants to do, so it pisses him off even more. All right. So this is the nature of his role in the narrative. Is he hero, anti-hero, villain, anti-villain, a random schmuck effectively, or a bumbler? Bumblers trip and stumble their way through the plot, instigating and resolving situations without intending to. Everything else is self-explanatory. I don't know what you mean. If you want to link it in the Discord, that would be lovely. Narrative nature. Let's see. 1 through 6. He's a hero. So keep in mind, this is different from intent. This is not his intent or his agenda. This is what he is to the story. He's a hero. So he's heroic. Despite all attempts otherwise. So he's a ruthless hero, and it just so happens that his attempts at social climbing and his attempts at adventuring keep solving problems, even though he doesn't care about that. He just wants to experience new things and feel new things. You added it? One sec. Lunk. No, I remember now. I remember exactly what you mean. Thank you very much. Lunk. Fuck, you're right. He's mute. He's linking it. He's a mute elf. God damn it. Hold on. I need an ad break. Hold on. I need to stretch. You're right. You're right for that. Hang on. Oh my God. My sternum popped. Oh, there we are. We need a change of music, by the way, in a moment. Okay. There we are. Hello. Hi. Okay. Now, I'm going to change the music while we're on ad break. So in order to not get slapped by Twitch or YouTube, I need to do this DMCA free. Video game music works the best for this. Does anyone know some really good, funky, not too high energy, but not too low energy video game music that you can think of? The older, the better. You have suggestions? I'm open to them. It's a very viewer suggestion stream. Let's see. Not too intense. The energy being up is fine, but it can't be like or anything like that, you know? And it's got to be like video game focused, because that's the only thing that doesn't get DMCA'd. Ow. Ow. Maybe Wii theme music? Different Wii store music or Wii product music? Kind of feeling that. Okay. 10 hours of Wii theme music, just mixed theme music. Wait, no, it's the singular. No, it's the one thing. Wii Music Remix? No. How about this? It's the same song. Okay. It's the same song for 10 hours. How about chill nostalgic Wii music? Oh, yeah, this is a bunch of them. This works. This works. Good. Okay. You know, it's funny to me that Nintendo is very litigious most of the time, but they've realized that so many people have an emotional connection to Nintendo music, and that there's so goddamn much of it that it is not worth their time or effort to try to chase everyone down for using it. Like, I have never gotten striked for Nintendo music. It's just not worth their time. There's so much. Anyway. If you're a big name, they might tell you, hey, knock it off, but otherwise they don't give a shit. Oh, that's good. Yeah, you're getting it, Dr. Phineas. I hope so. I hope you're correct. Yeah, because the music is a package as part of the game that might... I mean, practically speaking, it makes way more sense for them to encourage people to use Nintendo music so people keep thinking about Nintendo products. But you know how businessmen can be. Okay. Tendency. What is his tendency? So his tendency is his how do I put this? How does he go about his agenda? So vagabond is just wanders from place to place without a permanent home. Homebody is he found a home base and he stays there as much as possible. Builder is he's trying to build something where something hasn't already been built. Sometimes literally, sometimes figuratively. He might be like setting up a mercenary camp or something. Destroyer means that he just goes from place to place and he tends to just raise things to the ground. until he goes on to the next thing. Explorer means that his express purpose is the travel, and Conqueror means that he goes from place to place explicitly seizing it for himself. So it's a little all over the place, but I'm sure you understand the gist of it. That's going to be a 1d6. There we go. Let's see. He's a vagabond. Okay, so we find that our protagonist has a tendency to wander from place to place, desperately trying to get into the local social climber scene. And he's trying to earn like reputation so he can leverage it to get what he wants. So he wanders from place to place, doing different things that he thinks will get him ahead. And then they don't work, he gets pissed off and he wanders away. The Eternal Stranger? Gotta Google that. Spaghetti West. Oh, that guy. The stranger with the big iron on his hip. Okay, yeah. Yeah, you're right. That's a spaghetti western. That's the spaghetti western aspect. That means the story probably takes place in a series of only vaguely connected vignettes that are like 10 to 15 chapters apiece. And then he wanders to a new place. That's interesting. Okay. So now we get to design his visual archetype. This is, you're going to look at his character design and just get the impression of this. There's quite a few different options. If you want to force a reroll, you can force a reroll. Just keep in mind his current presentation. He presents to everyone as male, but does not think of himself as male. And this might be like a kind of act he puts on or a mask he wears for the benefit of his agenda or other people. So let's go ahead and roll it. 20. $14. The Fashionista. The Fashionista. Okay. He has... okay. He's a fancy lad. He's a dandy lad, isn't he? He's a dandy. Yes, he wanders from place to place. He tries to wear only the finest clothes, because he's both used to it and because he feels that it helps him comport himself in the best way and make the best impression. And also he hates shitty clothing. There you go, exactly. But he can't talk, so he just has to go from place to place and point at things angrily. Or like show like a drawing. Yeah. And it is a Xianxia setting, so I imagine the clothing is at least superficially resemblant to antiquity Chinese garb, which involves a lot of flowing cloth, a lot of sashes, bands, robes, things of that nature. Interesting. All right, so now we get to roll his attractiveness. This is one of the things that was going to be skipped if the character was underage, because but we get the full spectrum now. I'd like to point out, result 1, ew. Result 8, as many Rule 34 posts as 2B. I want you to keep in mind his personality as we roll this, because if we get number 8, that is going to be fucking hilarious. So, attractiveness, 1 to 8. My idea either lets you pick or append it, or force a reroll on a specific option. If you want to just pick with my idea, you can pick it. Got it. 8. Okay. As many Rule 34 posts as 2B herself. They are doing wild things to that man's whatever. This man's whatever is getting destroyed. I don't know what he's working with. That's none of my business. That's none of our business. But it is getting destroyed. Got it. Okay. Next. These are the last two for this character. Audience appeal. How does the audience like him? This includes critics. There you go, exactly. He's drop dead fucking gorgeous, which is the only reason he keeps getting invited to parties. That and the novelty of his ears and obvious foreign nature. But every time he ends up getting nearly kicked out because he's really aggressive. Okay. Audience appeal, 1 through 8. This is fun. I like this. This is very fun. I have a bunch of these ideas, by the way. We could do this concept with basically any kind of media format or property. So I'd like to do this again in a few weeks, I think. Okay. 7. He is beloved. Despite the fact that the story itself is not highly regarded, we don't know why it's not highly regarded, but people really like, they really, really like the protagonist. They think he's really fun or maybe relatable or extremely sexy, and that's overriding everything else in their minds. The point is, people love him. Beloved. So they don't have a problem with him. The problem is something else about the story. We're going to find out what that is later. Now, okay, do we want to make an antagonist first or a supporting character first? Because the thing is, because he's mute, I don't think he can function very well in this world without at least one companion. So do we want to make him a companion, or do we want to make the antagonist first? It's his, we'll see, it's his attitude. He's constantly aggro and he's oblivious to social cues. So, like, that's what drives people off of him. All right, supporting character. Got it. Can we please? All right, so we're going to copy this format. All right, let's zero this out. Boom, boom, boom. It's going to be quicker if I just do it again. Okay. So the supporting character tables are different. We also start with their... you know what? To keep it cohesive, we're going to do these first. Age and gender. And narrative role. There we go. So age and gender first. We have between 1 and 6. If this is also a senior, I don't know what to do. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying this story is going to be so goddamn weird. 1, they're a child. They're between 7 and 11 years old. Yeah, sure, Kryn. 7 to 11, let's say 9. So they've got this ambitious child tagging along, being their, posing as, let's say, their squire of sorts, and apparently doing a fantastic job of smoothing over a lot of real big issues. The plot to Up, we're getting kind of an Up vibe, except elf. Hey, Shenanosuke, how you doing? Yeah, the protagonist is a 68-year-old heir who is explicitly lying about presents as a guy as a form of lie. He does not think of himself as a man. And got isekai'd into an infinite Mobius strip savannah by with the Shansha universe that's explicitly connected to Earth by potentially some kind of arrogant elder or something. Yeah, so this child assists our protagonist barely preventing him from getting fucking chased down and beaten to death with blunt pitchforks. So it's the only thing keeping him alive, because he's skilled, but he's not that skilled. He's capable, not invincible. So what is this child's gender? If we get male but lying about it again, like presenting as male as a lie, connection. Okay, it is 1 to 8. Of course, if we get gender plus platinum, also exciting. 4, agender. This child is without gender. Bump roll +1. Some sinister 5th thing. Okay, got it. Some sinister 5th thing. Question marks? The child accepts being referred to with any pronouns because it's too tiresome to try to tell people to use neopronouns, but prefers, I don't know, they, them, maybe? Sinisterly gendered child. Okay. Now we go back up to narrative nature. Some evil ass kid, yeah. If the kid gets villain, that's gonna be very funny. All right, narrative nature, 1 to 6. Hello, I am a 68-year-old mute elf, and this is my evil ass child. Villain. Okay, villain. The child is a villain. The child is literally an evil ass child. Okay, narrative role. Child decides at the beginning of the day which set of pronouns they should be referred to. Goes absolutely feral in some, but like feral in a way that, like, you just see that their eyes go, and then they start to plot. And if you don't get out of town within the next 3 days, they will turn up dead. An evil ass kid trying to harness the main character's skills to rule the world. And the main character cannot use the wrong pronouns because he cannot speak, which is why the kid won't kill him. Okay. All right, that's fun. Narrative role, 1 to 10. We can't do paramour, obviously. So we're gonna skip that. There's a couple options that we're gonna skip if the age doesn't match up. Patron, oh my God, imagine patron. 1 to 10. 8. Narrative foil. This child is constantly, without overtly doing it, against the protagonist's knowledge, the child is trying to go behind his back to fuck up the places they go in the name of greed. Well, we don't know what motivates the child, but the character keeps accidentally subverting the child's plans without either of them knowing. Oh, okay. What's up? Excuse me. Protagonist needs to be heroic bumbler. So you're saying the protagonist is a bumbler? Okay, okay. What was that? Narrative nature. Bumbler, 6. Narrative nature. Heroic bumbler. Got it. Understood. So the protagonist isn't overtly evil. However, their idea of what is acceptable in order to solve problems is profoundly fucked up and defaults to extreme violence for the sake of it. But he is extremely ambitious. and constantly foiled by the fact that he cannot communicate, which is one of the few things that he was actually pretty good at before. The child is a foil to him because the child knows he's trying to help people, but tries to fuck up his agenda behind his back. Doesn't care about the social climbing because that can be used to the child's agenda, to their advantage. But every time the child fucks something up, the protagonist ends up fixing it through a series of wild coincidences and spur-of-the-moment decisions in such a way that the child cannot rightly justify killing him. Is tempted to, but cannot justify it. Okay. Got it. So what is the narrative role? Foil. Because the protagonist is handy to have around because he doesn't use the wrong pronouns for the child or assume anything about the child that the child can tell, but is also an adult so people will not hassle them. He's convenient for the child, so he keeps him around. All right. Gender is some sinister fifth thing. Feelings towards protagonist. This is the fun part. We can't do some of these. Like number 7, we can't do. Number 8 wouldn't make a lot of sense, but it might if he's trying to turn if they're trying to turn the protagonist to his like evil ends. I don't know. We'll have to see. Okay. Feelings towards protagonist. I could not have come up with this if I tried. That's the thing. I could not have come up with this if I tried. This is going hog wild. 1d10. 3, ambivalent. No. Oh, sorry. 2, 3, 4. Wait, do I have 11? I have 11 here. Oh, shit. Okay. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We have to add another option. We do have to re-roll and we have to add another option because this was a fraudulent table. So 12 will be explode. What's this? 11? Oh, useful idiot. That's a good one. Useful idiot. Okay, let's re-roll that. 2, tense relationship. Okay. He is always on the verge of getting stabbed by this child, but the child refrains. Because on occasion, the protagonist will get something done or save them from a situation that the child could not have saved them from. The child would not have survived. So he lives for now. Got it. Okay. Next. I didn't make a profession. Okay, we have to roll a profession. We have to roll a profession. I didn't make a profession for some reason. Let's go ahead and just copy this over. That's F. Here we go. 4F. Profession. Unemployed is also an option for a child. 4, 5, 6, 7. Have some truth seeker. Let's replace truth seeker with unemployed. Okay. And G, H, I, J, K, L. All right. What is this child's profession? What does this child survive doing? Let's see. 1d10. Still haven't gotten one exploding die. That's kind of weird. That's fine, though. 5. A tycoon. Okay. We did? I must have forgotten. Oh, yeah. Okay. Adventure and social climber. This child is a tycoon in the making. This child is a business genius. This child's ambition may be more complicated, but their immediate ambition is to found an empire of profit. For what ends, we'll find out later. Might be profit itself. But how capable are they? This is their general capability, not just their tycoon capability. So this goes from 1 to Gandalf. And Gandalf is pretty obvious. Gandalf is so indispensable to the story that the story would not function without the character. There you go. Let's see. 1 through 6. Average. So this child is sometimes helpful, sometimes not, fails on occasion, succeeds on occasion, is roughly 50-50. Not useless enough that the protagonist is willing to toss them away, and not indispensable enough that the protagonist would forgive them of anything. They're helpful a decent amount of the time. Now, what is their motivation? We have 1 is fun, all the way to 12 is a wild card. Let's see. Personal motivation. That's 1d12. 2, power. This child desires power for power's sake. The business is just a means to an end, and the end is an iron fist. Bump roll +1. Profit. Okay. The business is a means to an end, and the end is money. If the child could come into instant riches and fame and fortune, they would accept it. But until that happens, they plan to be a business tycoon. So this child is a scam artist. This child is a shitty, sinister little scam artist who relies on the protagonist to cover for their shenanigans. A little goblin, yes. All right, character design, visual archetype. We can't do some of these. 1 or 2 of these we can't do, but we will see. Visual archetype. Loads of money. Dosh. 1 to 20. Exactly. Wants the Scrooge-style vault, complete with gold coin swimming. 5. The schemer. Okay. So because it's a child, that's a difficult thing to really put into concrete terms. Let's say trying to present as a lovable urchin, coming across more as a little pickpocket. A nasty lad, gender neutral. I think that works. Okay. Now, we're skipping attractiveness. Not relevant here. Audience appeal. Audience appeal. How does the audience feel about this character? This goes from Scrappy-Doo all the way to beloved and extremely controversial. I don't care what result we get. It's gonna be probably funny unless we get 4 or 5. Let's see. 1 to 8. 6. He's a fan favorite. This child, they're a fan favorite. Sinister third thing of fan favorite. Well, +1. Beloved. Okay. So this child, they are okay, the protagonist and the supporting protagonist are both beloved by fans. The cast of the most seen cast of characters is not the problem with this story. What is the problem with this story? Let's see. Ultimate Fate. If it's downer ending, that might explain something. We have to roll this child's ultimate fate because the story's been finished. It's a media franchise, right? So let's see. What is the child's ultimate fate? Let's see, 1 to 8. Yeah. 6. Dreams fulfilled. The child becomes an unstoppable business titan, ruler of their domain. Tycoon ending / infinite wealth ending. Pretty good. Okay, so obviously something goes right here. So what we didn't roll on for the primary character was their ultimate fate. I think it's fair to see what the primary character's fate is. Let's take a look. You want to wait until after the villain? Oh, you want to be able to root for the character. Okay, no, that's fair. TBD. Now for the antagonist. Let's just get this down here. All right. Antagonist. Now, the antagonist might not just be a singular character. It might also be an organization backed by this character. That's funny. Okay. Here we are. So, age, gender, narrative, nature, and threat nature. So the narrative role is antagonist. We already know that. So we didn't need to roll on that. But in what capacity is the antagonist an antagonist? So the narrative nature indicates not their narrative role, but how the story sees them in contrast to the protagonist. So this might not necessarily be a villain. We'll have to find out in a moment. So age, let us roll 1d6. Seven to 11 years old. The antagonist is between 7 and 11 years old. Make him 4? Fuck it. Why not? Okay, another child. This child's gender being 1 to 8. This is a male child. Okay. So this is a spoiled. Okay. We don't know if they're spoiled. So whether this child is the thing that thought it would be hilarious to tear the protagonist into this world depends on their threat level. We'll determine that later. 6-year-old man is beefing with a 4-year-old. Exactly. Narrative nature. There might be more than one antagonist too. We don't know. So what is this child's comportment? 1 to 6. 4, anti-villain. So they are villainous, but they have morally gray and heroic tendencies. So they're not pure evil. Reroll? Okay. He's not pure evil unless he's a hero. He's a good guy, and he stands against the protagonist. So it might be that he sees the protagonist as a threat in some capacity. What is the nature of the threat? So is he an individual that is incredibly threatening? Is he working behind the scenes to sabotage the protagonist's goals? Is he the head of an organization? Is he a lurking danger in the background that doesn't particularly care about the protagonist specifically? Does he want something the protagonist has or is? Or more, multiple of the above? Let's see. 2, he's working behind the scenes to fuck the protagonist's goals up. He's the protagonist only when the protagonist's actions benefit the supporting character. So you think he's associated somehow with the supporting character, the child? He is an insidious saboteur. But how capable is he? Animosity level. So this one is how much he personally hates the protagonist. Let's see. 6. On-site exterminatus. It is on-site, scorched earth, will glass a county the moment he sees the protagonist vulnerable. Just immediately fucking on-site, motherfucker. I don't care what I gotta do to kill you. I am gonna see you dead. Animosity. On-site exterminatus. Absolute maximum hostility. Okay. Now the threat level. Paired with the animosity, this could either be funny or extremely concerning. Threat. Oh. Threat level. If he rolls an 8. Godlike child. If he rolls, okay, if this child rolls an 8, it is a gifted savant of cultivation who achieved demigod status at the age of 4. Which is wacky. But fuck it, why not, right? 1. Non-existent. Completely. This is a normal 4-year-old. A clever 4-year-old who's trying to work behind the scenes to fuck this guy up, but he is a complete non-threat, which means we definitely have to have another antagonist. But that's okay. They're quick to make. Well, it's actually that the random 4-year-old wants the 60-year-old protagonist dead. This 4-year-old is completely aware of the nature of mortality and fucking hates the protagonist. Okay, motivation. Why does he hate the protagonist? Let's see. 12 is the D12. Remember, these tables are not like the protagonist's attitude about the characters. It's the character's profile. So 5, knowledge. Knowledge. Okay. So the 4-year-old is a savant, is a brilliant genius, and considers the protagonist, oh, divine favor? Okay. The 4-year-old is very smart and considers the protagonist an existential threat to their god's interests. And to such a profound degree that they are willing to use everything at their disposal to see the protagonist dead. Without fail. The problem is they are not succeeding. In fact, they are not succeeding so hard that they may be actively working against their own means and ends. All right, okay. That's fun. So once again, some of these character design visual archetypes are not going to work. We will have to see. 1 to 20. 12. The devilish. Okay, so this child is this child is the leader of a cult for a dark god. No, not a dark god, he's a hero. This child is the leader of a cult for a virtuous god. Inheritor of a cult maybe. but every time the child tries to kill the protagonist or foil the protagonist's agenda, it fails fucking miserably and is basically doomed to fail for reasons the child is not aware of. We're going to skip the attractiveness. Audience appeal. Is this antagonist one of the reasons why people don't like this story? Let's take a look. That's 1 to 8. I know I'm moving fast sometimes, but you got to hit those redeems in the middle of what I'm doing if you want to trigger them. The audience doesn't particularly care about them. It's all right, I guess. Now, what is his ultimate fate? Now, oh, reroll? Okay, got it. He's a scrappy. He's scrappy, dude. The child is so self-righteous, so inept, and so fucking annoying that he brings the entire story down with him. Hi, Slapper. How you doing today? He's one of the reasons people hate this story. Okay, that's fun. Sort of like I'm picturing sort of like a Garlic Jr.-esque thing, but his agenda is virtuous, but he's so inept that he comes off as like a Garlic Jr. type. Is anyone else feeling that? I'm feeling that. Now, what is his ultimate fate? God damn it. Ultimate fate. Okay. 1d8. Oh, what are we doing, Dr. Phineas? Reverse isekai? He gets torn onto Earth. He, as a 4-year-old, ends up on modern day Earth. The only thing he's got going for him, as it is very intelligent, but otherwise normal toddler. Okay. Forcefully reverse isekai. There we go. That is the antagonist. Now, I'd like to make another antagonist because this doesn't feel like enough to drive the story. We need an antagonist that's threatening. So whether that antagonist works with this one or against them or something else, we'll see. Antagonist number 1 and antagonist number 2. Council of Antagonists, that'd be fun. Okay. Boom. Boom. Season 1 antagonist, introductory antagonist, sure. Here we are. Okay. So, age. Where is it? Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Age. Right here. Council 4-year-olds. If we roll 1 again, keep in mind, the first roll we made for the protagonist was a 1. The roll we made for the supporting character was a 1. The roll we made for the antagonist was a 1. What is this? Boss baby? What's fucking happening here? All right. I don't know. Let's try again. 3. Young adult. Okay. This is 18 to 30. 18 to 30 is like the young adult range. Let's say 26. Just as a random number. Gender. Gender is 1d8. 2. Female. Okay. Narrative, nature. So hero, anti-hero, villain, etc., etc., etc. 3 is 1d6. 2, anti-hero. Anti-hero. Okay, has heroic goals. Willing to perform ostensibly evil acts to fulfill them. Okay. threat nature. 1 through 6. Covetous watcher. Oh. Are you gonna go problematic on me, Dice? Covetous watcher. This means that this antagonist wants something the protagonist is or has. Or maybe even the protagonist himself. Animosity level. Okay. This is about to go weird, I think. Oh my god, they looked at me. Hi. That's what she rolled. Okay. All right. Let's just put deeply infatuated. This is the dice, okay? I'm not in charge of the age gap here. Threat level, just hell on 2 legs or just give up. Please. That would be so funny. Please, I beg you. Hell on 2 legs or just give up. That would be so funny. Come on, you know it would be funny, Dice. Six, frightening. That works. Okay. Okay, that works. Frightening. Extremely dangerous. +1, hell on 2 legs. Okay, yes, let's go. All right. Hell on 2 legs. Profoundly dangerous. So we did not determine a profession for this first one. I think we should determine a profession for these. So let's take a look at the profession table again. Wait, hang on. Oh my god, I have so much going on here. Let's take a look at the profession table again. And if it just doesn't make any sense, we'll either figure it out or don't worry about it. Okay, so profession is... let's see here. 1 to 10. 5. Tycoon. Okay. 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 Wait. Oh. She's the mother of the supporting character. And she's already a successful tycoon. And while chasing after her child, she encountered the protagonist and became deeply infatuated. And she is extremely dangerous. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. Okay. This is good. This is good. This is good. All right. Motivation. It's the dice. The dice are obsessed with me. Oh. Is this for profession? Or is this for motivation? Exit's #1 mom. So, like, just stay-at-home mother? Well, normally stay-at-home mother? I mean, if you want to just make her role as antagonist 1's mom, that's fine. If you want to make her profession stay-at-home mother, that's also a wild card. That's fine. I see. Antagonist 1's full-time mom. Okay. Personal motivation. Let's see. So this could complicate things in a very fun way. 12. Explode. She has 2 motivations. 10 and 11. Death and freedom. Oh, thank you for the watch streak, Dr. Phineas. Okay, so whose death does she desire? Whose death does she desire? Or does she crave murder? Does she crave murder? Because she is an anti-hero. Oh, because the child, number 1, is a cultist, inheritor of a cult. Death cultist. Okay. Well, the protagonist didn't kill her son. They reverse isekai'd her son. Or even maybe they didn't even do that. I can't undo a wild card is the thing. So his the antagonist 1's fate is forcefully reverse isekai'd. So the mother might think he's dead. Okay. Yeah, death cultist. Okay. Visual archetype. So this is what her character design is like. 1 through 20. 8. The politician. Okay. Okay. So she's well put together. She has the air of a diplomat. Finely dressed. Comports herself very carefully. Head over heels for the protagonist. Even after the assumed death of her son. Okay. 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 This is so... It's tangled. It's tangled. Maybe she doesn't think the protagonist or knows the protagonist didn't actually kill her son. Yeah, she's hell on 2 legs, which means she's personally extremely dangerous. But she is content to just covet the protagonist for some reason. Now, the audience appeal, was the audience happy to have her after her son? Oh, no, wait, no, attractiveness. Excuse me. Now, this is not for objectification purposes. This is for how people perceive the character. Okay? 1 through 8. Stunner of the year. Not as popular as the protagonist, but still extremely pop. Okay, got it. As many Rule 34 posts as to be. Post us. Got it. So it's a cast of absolute baddies. Apparently, the secondary, I should say, the second antagonist and the protagonist both absolutely fucking stunning. Got it. They definitely often ship together. She probably usually tops if I know fandoms well, which is fine. Good for them. Good for her. Okay. Audience appeal. Do they hate her and the fact that they are attracted to her? Or do they just love her unambiguously? She's alright, I guess, they say. Apparently her character design outweighs her role in the story. Alright. Next up, her ultimate fate. Now, since she's not trying to kill the protagonist, her defeat or victory... Oh, sorry. Her defeat or victory are not necessarily cut and dried. It's just her agenda, remember. Ultimate Fate, 1d8. 6. Unambiguously victorious. She gets the guy. She gets the guy. What? Oh, shit, sorry. My bad. She gets the guy. She gets the protagonist. God damn. Thank you. Yeah, sorry. I have to remember there's like a bunch of stuff I can't see. And I thought you meant like this at first. Okay. She gets the guy. We need someone who's a threat though. For the final, let's say final season, season 3, we'll make another antagonist and I'm going to force 2 things. This is the only time I'm going to do this. This needs to be a real threat. So the threat level has to be at least extremely dangerous. And the age has to be some manner of adult. Okay? All right. Imagine. It's her ex. That'd be funny. We'll see. Age. So we're going to ignore any 1s or 2s. And re-roll if it's a 1 or a 2. 5. Middle-aged. Okay. Let's say 47. There we go. Gender. All right. And that's a D8. Oh, senior? You want senior? Or are you bumping whatever I get for gender? Okay, so senior, let's say 63. Okay, gender. 4. Agender again. And narrative nature. Let's see. This is a 1 through 6. This is going to decide how this character is. 4. Anti-villain. It is a villain that has ostensibly evil aims, but their methods aren't always evil. So it's a villain you can sympathize with fully. Threat nature. This one, I'm letting it do whatever it wants, except for Covetous Watcher, because Covetous Watchers are inherently kind of passive. So let's just see what happens here. 3. Antagonistic organization. The head of an antagonistic organization. Okay. Animosity level. Reroll. Okay. 1 through 6. 5. Covetous Watcher. We got to reroll that one. 1. Individual threat. This person is so dangerous that they pose a potential personal threat to the protagonist on a one-on-one basis. Now let's see how much they care about the protagonist. If it's not at all, then we have to come up with some sort of reason why they would kill the protagonist. But that could be fun too. So this is a 1d12. 3. Please die. So they are not... Okay. This person is not personally angry at the protagonist, but they are so annoying. He's so annoying to this person that they just like, oh, fucking please just die. Let's see. Impersonal, but very pissed off. Got it. Okay, cool. Now here's the threat level. The minimum here is worrying. So we need a 5 through 8. So we're going to roll 1d4, 1 being 5 and 4 being 8. Oh, time to take a break. Okay. I'm good. I'm normal. Good and normal. I'm glad for you. Good job on Zoop. Protagonist being a homewrecker? We'll have to see. Threat level. Let's wait until the ad ends. Okay. I'm having fun. I hope y'all are having fun. I'm enjoying myself. This is fun. I wouldn't do this every night or even once a week, but I would do it once every couple months. Or maybe once a month. Once a month might be good. Okay. Sorry, I'm just vibing. Okay. As soon as the ad ends, we're going to resume the rolling because I'm anxious to find out. Okay. Hope everybody's been hydrating. Whoa! Thank you very much for the subscriptions, Coyote Real. Thank you. Okay. Hey, the pizza's here. Much appreciated. Y'all's support always helps. Is the ad break over in 3, 2, 1? Wish I had a timer for this. I have to go vibes based because I have ADHD, and frankly speaking, keeping precise track of time beyond a minute is not in my skill set. It's not in my skill set at all. But hey, that's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I don't need to keep track of time. Time is fake. Did you know time is actually fake? Exactly. Did you know that time actually varies based on your point in space? And that the denser the mass around you, the faster time moves? Isn't that wild? Because time is just... Because as we know, time is just a function of the speed at which entropy occurs. That is the only true measure of time, is the speed at which entropy occurs. The state of energy moving from an organized state into a homogenized, diffuse state. That's the only true measure of time. That occurs faster in areas of higher gravity, which is fucking wild. Interstellar exaggerated some things, but it had some really actually scary stuff that they informed people of. Anyway, welcome back from ad break. Basically, the higher your local mass and density, the faster time moves relative to you. So this is, for instance, why any form of FTL that actually made you move faster than light rather than simply translocating you would result in a subjective passage of time for you that is much, much, much shorter than everyone else in the universe. So essentially, if we discovered a faster than light travel that actually involves point A to point B movement, then it would feel extremely short to the people on board the ship, but thousands of years could pass outside of the ship. And it's the same with gravity wells. Extremely high gravity, your personal scale of time moves much more slowly than outside of the gravity well. It's relativity. And we know relativity is to a certain extent real because, yes, exactly, Dr. Phineas. We know relativity is to a certain extent real and applicable because the most flawless methods of keeping time that we have, such as like atomic clocks, which measure the decay of particles over time, move faster in orbit than they do on the ground. Ever so slightly faster. Just a teeny, tiny infinitesimally bit faster. So around a black hole, for instance, if you're okay with only traveling to the future, you can time travel if you orbit it closely enough without getting pulled into the singularity, well, the event horizon, because technically once you reach that point, it's eternity. You'll never subjectively actually reach the singularity. But anyway, point is, doesn't matter. Roll. Let's roll. The threat level, again, we're with a range of 5 to 8 because we need an actual for real antagonist here for the final season or the final volume of this book. So 5 to 8. It's a D4. 1, 2. Frightening. Okay. So this antagonist is not quite as dangerous on a personal level as the what? Wait, hang on. Did I just overwrite some things? I overwrote some things, excuse me. I have to undo some stuff. Shit. I didn't mean to do that. Indaga's number 3, 64, agender, anti-villain, individual threat, animosity, please die, impersonal hatred, threat level, frightening. Okay, profession. What is the profession table again? Here we are. Let's see. Oh wait, no, that's the post isekai job. Here we are. Thank y'all for the hype train. Much appreciated. That's 1d10. 9. Knowledge specialist, arcane practitioner, hacker, etc. So this is also a cultivation mage. A very powerful one. Certainly more powerful than the protagonist. What is their personal motivation? So that's a 1d12. Just bounced again. 6. Unity. Oh my god. The Unity. Protagonist is a homewrecker. All right. The antagonist number 2, the mom has a thing for older guys. Oh, thank you very much, Corinne, for the 5 gift subs. You're lovely. Thank you. Much appreciated. So antagonist number 2 has an old guy fetish and leaves antagonist number 3, who is the parent of antagonist number 1, because the protagonist... Oh, thank you again. Goddamn. Thank you for the total of 10 gifted subs, Kaori. Damn. Antagonist 3 is the parent of antagonist 1, and the former spouse of antagonist 2 who left them because she has a fetish for older people and she's able to have her cake and eat it too because she gets an old guy who looks like a lithe and beautiful Bishonen elf. So antagonist 3 realizes that the onus and the sin, so to speak, is on their wife, however, will absolutely kill the protagonist if they get the chance. And they're a powerful mage. Let's say from a culture where it is typical to not identify with any binary gender, where gender is not really a thing, which antagonist number 1 inherited as a cultural practice. Sorry. Wait, no. No. Okay, never mind. That's not antagonist number 1. Disregard that last thread. Okay, so it's just a thing people do in this culture. Is to be a gender has no standing on your social standing or reputation, which is cool. Okay. And they're an anti-villain because their motivations are sympathetic, but they are explicitly doing bad things. I see. Okay. Now, what is the personal motivation post the breakup? That's going to be D12. 4. Oh, I already rolled Unity. Fuck it, Divine Favor. Divine Favor fits better anyways. They're seeking the favor of their god because their child has inherited the station of cult leader from them, but their child is neglecting their duty in favor of trying to kill the homewrecker. Oh, sorry. I got excited. So they're not focused on killing the homewrecker, but if given the chance, they absolutely will, which explains why antagonist 1's attitude is on-site exterminatus. Because the protagonist broke up in his eyes his parents' marriage by just being hot. Okay. Now, how attractive is the other parent of the first antagonist? This second mage. Oh, we haven't done a visual archetype yet. Okay, visual archetype. The devilish visual archetype is because of the role as the cult leader. The cult heir is antagonist 1's visual archetype. Because, well, let's see. If this person, antagonist 3, gets devilish as well, that's just their style. If they don't, we will have to see. 1d20. It's on the edge, but 13. Hang on. It's on the edge. Does anyone else see this? Hang on. This dice needs to not move. Don't move. Look at this. It's sitting on the edge. Do you see that? Which means I get to split the difference. I get to split the difference and do 13 and 14. Divine Clown. Divine Clown, baby. Clown makeup and all. Attractiveness. Now, if this character also gets maximum attractiveness, Oh my God, let's see. Hang on, I have an impression in my pocket, but I'm waiting. I'm waiting because Chuckles is not terribly attractive. Well, to most people. If we get too specific tastes or anything below that, it's fucking Chuckles. Okay. 1, 2, 3, it's goddamn Chuckles. 1 to 8. D8. 4. Unremarkable. Okay, it's not Chuckles. It's Chuckles. Okay. To specific tastes. Hang on. Hang a fucking second. YouTube just gave me, are you away from the PC or still watching? How goddamn dare you? How fucking dare you? I'm going to be doing some Googling after the stream ends. You don't get to ask me if I'm still at my PC. I use my PC how I goddamn want to use my PC. If I want to leave my house and leave Tomodachi Life music playing 24/7, 365, that is my fucking business. Not yours, YouTube. How good, the gall, the balls on you. Okay, I'm mad. Doesn't matter. Let's do something happy again. Okay. How attractive is this character to specific tastes? Okay. Audience appeal. This is a true thing because Chuckles, as we know, is beloved. Chuckles is beloved. People would die for Chuckles. We gotta know. 1 through 8. 2, audience punching bag. Okay, got it. People don't really like this character. People actually want this character gone, but not enough that he brings down the entire work. That's funny. Okay. Really? Well, I'm just gonna bypass it as soon as I can. I'm just gonna bypass it. Because you know there's an extension that already bypasses it. Like, you know that exists. There's no goddamn way. Not happening. I'm just gonna bypass it. Fucking, the children can go fuck themselves. Okay, not actually, but like, it is not my responsibility to take care of your child. If I am in public and your child is in danger, I will come to your child's defense. If I am in public and there's a child around, I will modulate my behavior and my language to not be an asshole. However, beyond that, fuck yourself. Parents, take some goddamn responsibility. What happened to personal responsibility that the parents can't take some fucking responsibility for their child? Why is it my job to raise your child? I didn't find your child out in the street. You're pushing your child into my home. Keep that child out of my house. Anyway, now that that's done, we're happy again. The audience doesn't like this character, but not enough that they bring down the work. I wouldn't even say I crashed out. I was perfectly composed there, is the thing. I don't resent the implication that I crashed out, but I think it's important to note that I was perfectly composed. I am just extremely emphatically pissed the fuck off at the laziness and irresponsibility of these people who didn't want to have children, but had them anyways, instead of just getting an abortion like a normal person. Or using a condom or getting a vasectomy. Now, obviously, to be clear, There are always fringe cases where someone literally had no choice whatsoever. I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about that case. I'm talking about the 10 million fucking people a year who just decide to go, I don't really want to get a vasectomy. Or I don't really want to use a condom. Let's just do it. Take some fucking responsibility. Safe sex means safe. Whatever that means to you. Ultimate fate. I'm done. I gotta be done. I gotta be done. I can't keep going. The ultimate fate of the antagonist. Now here's the thing. There is a possibility, and I don't want y'all to change this one if it turns up as this. If this character gets an ultimate fate of unambiguously victorious, it means that the protagonist, as they know him, dies. But it doesn't mean the protagonist is permanently dead, because it's an isekai story. And in an isekai story, where the second antagonist, whose goal was to get the guy, succeeds unambiguously, the protagonist can't permanently die, or can't die for real, because that supersedes the second protagonist's fate. Therefore, well, could be. We'll have to see. If we get the result, let's see. 1 through 8. Victorious but barely. They think that they've killed the protagonist, but they haven't, because the protagonist stops presenting as that person. I'm going to leave that up to y'all's headcanon, whether it means that they stop presenting as a guy, or whether it means they just disguise themselves and change their identity, or whether it means something else. But whether it means they were a trans woman all along, if they're lying to themselves with the male lying, and they're only presenting as a male at the beginning of the story because she thought she had to, I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to see. That's up to you. That is up to you. And that's going to come with the ultimate fate for the protagonist. Yes, exactly. Ultimate fate for the antagonist is victorious, but barely. We'll come back to that to amend that if we need to. Protagonist, ultimate fate, time to make the roll. Here's the ultimate fate. This is the ending of the story. This is the ending of the main story. Spin-offs, sequels, doesn't count. This is the ending of the main story. Okay. Here we go. Somewhat positive. That means that they may have accomplished some of their goals, but not in the way they intended. I think this fits having to drop their former identity and that being a mixed blessing. So, chat, let's clarify this. Presents as masculine. Well, no, we'll just put unambiguously male. Initially lying. But how? And that's your headcanon. I ain't gonna take your headcanon away from you. The only truth is that they are presenting as cis male when the story starts, and at the end of the story, somehow that changes. Whether that just means they realize they're non-binary, or maybe realize she's trans, or maybe reveals that she is he is, they are, I don't know. Because a lie is intent, right? A lie is intent. It could be that their visual appearance doesn't change at all, but they are now telling the truth to themselves. That's important. It's a journey. It's a journey. So let's go over everything we have here. We need to make a synopsis. We need to make a full synopsis based off of this information. Let's write a review. Okay. If y'all want to propose lines, feel free to. We're writing this in a collaborative manner. So we're going to just make this here. Character notes, compiled thoughts. All right. And we're going to put Isekai number 1, Isekai 1 review. All right. So let's go over what this is. Gather our thoughts. This is called The Saintess of Uruk, Spiteful Orb Challenge. The genre is grimdark, progression, fantasy, hidden world, Jansha, cultivation, isekai. The methodology, the main character was, they had their body forcefully reconstructed and altered. Oh, have a good one, Kryn. By being torn into the universe because something thought it would be funny. It's ambitious in scope. It has average critical reception. Most audiences did not like it at all. It is popular enough that it trended on social media for a time, and it had heavy investment from outside investors to the point that it had multiple spin-offs. Whether that's media spin-offs or just merchandise or what have you, we don't know. The original setting was, in some fashion, blatantly plagiarized. It took place in a pocket universe with a refreshing twist on a lot of details. The twist being that it is, the world is an infinite savanna of literally boundless size. It is influenced by spaghetti westerns, 80s American action movies, Tumblr, and Ghost in the Shell, heavily. The story heavily involves lone wanderers taking on what appears to initially be simple, corrupt institutions and figures. However, as information is revealed, the matter is shown to be significantly more morally gray and complex than initially thought. Veiled political propaganda is rampant, especially the neoliberal variety. Capitalism is not questioned in the slightest. So, given what we had with the antagonists and the protagonists, I think it's safe to say that this is a story format where there's an overarching myth arc, and then there's personal arcs for the characters. So these antagonists we've made are the primary antagonists that motivate the characters personally. However, the supporting character and the protagonist are in the habit of wandering from place to place, getting into various side filler shenanigans where the meat of the moral grayness takes place. Things are dark, things are horrific, things are bad. However, the personal character arcs of all the characters that are the main characters represent a spot of light. And that's the optimism of the 80s American action movies. There is a frequent occurrence of hunks, twinks, or bears. Frequent reoccurrence of specific hair colors. There's an elf somehow, that's the protagonist. And an overly ruthless protagonist that obviously needs a lot of therapy. So, okay, let's compose here. Well, initially, I was intrigued by the concepts put forth by the Saintess of Uruk, Spiteful Orb Challenge, now streaming on your favorite anime streaming platforms. I frequently found myself baffled by many choices made by the author that were seemingly not corrected during the editing process. Okay. The individual character arcs and plots of the main and supporting casts, along with, including the antagonists, including the primary antagonists, was highly compelling, but felt out of sorts, no, felt out of alignment with the themes and aesthetics that the rest of the... We're writing this as if it's an anime. The rest of the anime consistently put forth. I think this is going well. Okay. I found myself delighted by the personal plot wherein the protagonist found him, question mark, self, accosted by an unwanted admirer, borderline stalker, and hostile and repeated attempts at murder by both her son and her former spouse. The whimsy present therein, especially given the protagonist's dour attitude, ruthless ambition, and disinterest in said would-be paramour. Yeah, we're using an M dash. Was a frequent source of laughs. Got it. Was a frequent source of laughs, only bolstered by the frankly gorgeous designs of the principal adult cast. Okay. However, frequent diversions into plot lines, into subplots that would be more at home in an infamously violent wuxia, or even a volume of Berserk. Hey, hi Gwendolf, good to see you. We're just finishing up Twitch chat, and I made an isekai light novel franchise together. As in, we generate it with rolling and like ad-libbing and stuff. Wrote it all by hand today. We didn't write the story itself. Okay, the premise of the stream is we're making the premise. That's the fun part. Anyway, hey, good to see you. Infamously violent wuxia, or even in a volume of Berserk, detracted from the tone, leading me to believe that the author couldn't decide whether they wanted to tell a grim, dark historical fantasy or or a, let's see, or an adventure-minded sword and sorcery tale. Yeah, this is good. This is good. This is good. This is such a weird stream, but I'm really digging it. That said, comma, several of said plots were rather intricate and there you go. Okay, that's cool. We're summing up the story by writing a fictional review. That is a tactic I've used once before for a sort of like multimedia horror thing I did, but in this case, it's just right on stream in front of chat. We generated it from square one, every single thing. Okay, I should explain. This is, the title is The Saintess of Uruk Spiteful Orb Challenge. It is a grimdark progression fantasy hidden world Junsha cultivation isekai. It's ambitious in scope, a la Game of Thrones. It received average reception via critics, and audiences thought it was pretty damn bad. It was trending on social media for a while, and it received heavy investment from outside investors to the extent that it became a media franchise with multiple spin-offs and merchandise. But the setting was blatantly plagiarized from an old fantasy novel, and the world is way too ambitious. It's an infinite Mobius strip savanna plane. It is influenced by spaghetti westerns, 80s American action movies, Tumblr, Ghost in the Shell, and I have a synopsis here, and has frequent and high quantities of hunks, twinks, or bears, highly specific hair colors, elves somehow, and an overly ruthless protagonist that needs a lot of therapy. And then I also, of course, have the character notes for a protagonist, a supporting character, and 3 antagonists. It ended up being a... Well, the deal is, it ended up being that the protagonist is an incompetent, wealthy heir at the end of, quote, his life. He presents as male, but he's explicitly lying about it. We don't really know how. That's headcanon, up to each individual viewer. He got torn into this world through a tear in reality by some sort of spiteful entity for funsies. And he was cursed, turned into an elf, and now he wanders from place to place like a spaghetti western protagonist, accidentally solving wrongs, and trying to be a social climber and get wealth and influence. But he's mute. He can't talk. So he's always angry because he can't communicate, because the curse makes him think he's talking normally, but he's not. And he's got an evil fucking mastermind squire, basically, of some sinister fifth thing gender, we don't know, who serves as a narrative foil and keeps him alive as long as he's useful, wants to be a business tycoon, and goes around behind his back making... Yeah, he's ridiculously hot. Like, ridiculously hot. That's apparently important. We rolled for that. And the urchin, they go behind his back, constantly causing issues that he accidentally solves while he wanders from place to place. And the wife and mother of a line of cult leaders dedicated to a minor god is so infatuated by him because of his beauty, his muteness, and she has a thing for old people, that she leaves her child and... No, sorry. The child considers him a threat to his god, and she, in pursuing her child, falls in deep infatuation with the protagonist. This causes her to break up with her spouse, which pisses off her child so much that her child, the current cult leader heir, declares him like a heretic and wants him dead. In a bunch of shenanigans at the end of season 1, they forcefully reverse isekai the child into Earth. And because of this and their wife leaving, the child is 4. We rolled for it. Because of the child leaving and the wife leaving, the third season antagonist declares like a vendetta against the protagonist while still trying to please their god and run the cult. And the second antagonist, the mother, is so profoundly fucking dangerous that she's considered like a walking warhead and keeps pursuing the protagonist, and he's desperately fleeing while at the same time trying to do his own business. It's just wacky shenanigans. But the tone is supposed to be grimdark, and it's not, and the whole thing is not highly reviewed. So we decided that the tone is so dissonant and weird that it feels all over the place. I wish you could buy it. This would be a Crunchyroll exclusive. It would have 2 cores, and then it would get picked up by Funimation for the final one. Yeah, oh yeah, the third antagonist is, we rolled for the visual archetypes. The simulated die landed on its edge between divine and clown, so they're a divine clown. The first antagonist is so annoying that he's considered the Scrappy-Doo, and it drives a lot of viewers off until he's gone. The second season, they're fine with it. The second antagonist, but the third season, So the antagonists are a weak point in the series, or light novel series. It's just considered like a. It has its shooters, but it's not very popular. So you see what we've been doing for the last 3 hours and 45 minutes. Oh, that said, several of the plots were rather intricate and would not be out of place in a political mystery. I have been cooking. I love doing this. I love making things. Oh. And would not be out of place in a critically acclaimed political mystery. The dissonance herein is the chief reason I cannot in good conscience recommend the Saintess of Uruk Spiteful Orb challenge to anyone looking for a coherent end result. You may find something to love here, such as the absolutely stunning no, we already mentioned the cast appearance. Especially in visual design, but the majority of viewers will find themselves put off. Thank you very much. I intend to do this, I think, probably once a month with different concepts. Maybe a little more, maybe a little. Thanks for stopping by. It's lovely to see you, and I definitely will see you again soon. Yeah. May find themselves put off. Okay. Okay. The Saintess of Uruk Spiteful Orb Challenge has recently finished its third. Oh, I love DMing. I'm forever DM by choice. I love it. World building is one of my favorite things. Yeah. I do need to do tabletop streaming at some point. Has recently finished its third core and will be releasing the complete collection on Blu-ray. by the end of May. Okay. Sales of previous cores have so far been mediocre at best, but those wishing to secure an omnibus, no, secure the complete run of this controversial tale should take note. Saintess is a word. That's a word. That's a word. That's a word. Okay, there it is. Saintess of Uruk review. There you go. That's great. Ah, wait a second. On a brighter note, despite some concerning implications found in the political themes, queer audience members may find themselves pleasantly... Oh, I already used find themselves. May be pleasantly surprised by the care taken for respectful representation of various identities not normally seen in most anime. Despite a handful of flubs depending on your cultural experiences of queerness, the majority of screen time is obviously written with care and due diligence to the complicated realities of sex and gender. I think this is good. Okay. All right, I'm going to read it all out, and then we will wrap up the stream because I think we did a really good job. Thank you, window capture. So, while initially I was intrigued by the concepts put forth by the Saintess of Uruk Spiteful Orb Challenge, now streaming on your favorite anime streaming platforms, I frequently found myself baffled by many choices made by the author that were seemingly not corrected during the editing process. The individual character arcs and plots of main and supporting casts, including the primary antagonist, was highly compelling, but felt out of alignment with the themes and aesthetics that the rest of the anime consistently put forth. I found myself delighted by the personal plot wherein the protagonist found self accosted by an unwanted admirer, borderline stalker, and repeated attempts at murder by both her son and her former spouse. The whimsy present therein, especially given the protagonist's dour attitude, ruthless ambition, and disinterest in said would-be paramour, was a frequent source of laughs, only bolstered by the frankly gorgeous designs of the principal adult cast. However, frequent diversions into subplots that would be more at home in an infamously violent wuxia, or even a volume of Berserk, detracted from the tone, leading me to believe that the author couldn't decide whether they wanted to tell a grimdark historical fantasy or an adventure-minded sword and sorcery tale. That said, several of the plots were rather intricate and wouldn't be out of place, in a critically acclaimed political mystery. The dissonance herein is the chief reason I cannot in good conscience recommend the Saints of Uruk Spiteful Orb Challenge to anyone looking for a coherent end result. You may find something to love here, especially in visual design, but the majority of viewers may find themselves put off. On a brighter note, despite some concerning implications found in the political themes, queer audience members may be pleasantly surprised by the care taken for respectful representation of various identities not normally seen in most anime. Despite a handful of flubs, depending on your cultural experience of queerness, the majority of screen time is obviously written with care and due diligence to the complicated realities of sex and gender. The Saints of Uruk Spiteful Orb Challenge has recently finished its third core and will be releasing the complete collection on Blu-ray by the end of May. Sales of previous cores have so far been mediocre at best, but those wishing to secure the complete run of this controversial tale should take note. Done. Okay, that was a great time. Why is oh right, because it thinks I'm in Finland. I set my location as Finland and my language is English worldwide, so I don't get Windows bloatware. Did you know that? You could do that. When you set up a new instance of Windows, set your location as Finland, because it's illegal in Finland and much of the EU, but especially Finland, to have this bloatware installed in PCs. And set your location as English International, because that assumes you're in the EU and it doesn't take the chance of applying bloatware. So do what I did. And then also run Windows debloat to remove all the AI bullshit and the default apps. Anyway, yay. We did it, y'all. We got it. We got the fucking thing. I will be posting this on my Discord very shortly. The collected documents. I will put them in a... I will label them consistently from here on so you can do just a search in Discord and find them. Okay? Thank you for sticking around with me during this, frankly, rather unusual stream premise. I've never seen anyone do anything like this, and I thought it would be very fun. Thankfully, if you're a fan, several of the spin-offs are worth your time. In particular, the end, I used to be a toddler heir of cult until I was isekai, and now I have to rebuild my religion from scratch, is well put together, providing satisfying conclusions to the anemic handling the first season's primary antagonist. Can I put that in there, like verbatim? Because that's really good. Okay, where should I put that? Let's make it an editor's addendum. No, reviewer's addendum. Thankfully, if you are a fan, several of the spin-offs are worth your time. In particular, the visual novel I used to be the toddler heir. Excuse me. The toddler heir of of my own cult until I was isekai'd, and now I have to rebuild my religion from scratch. Is well put together, providing a satisfying conclusion to the anemic. It's European. I'm just gonna spell it the American way. To the anemic handling of the first season's primary antagonist. Primary antagonist plotline. And we will put that credit Dr. Phineas. There we are. I add everything to my dictionary because I do my own spell checking. Okay. There it is. Wow, y'all. Wow. Hang on. What the fuck? Well, that's interesting. I thought it was really fun. There we are. This was really fun. I'm gonna do this again. So let me just say tentatively, once a month. If I feel like doing it again in a couple weeks, I'll do it again in a couple weeks. But tentatively once a month. I'm not gonna set a date. I'm not gonna set a time because I know doing that fucks up my ability to plan and retain plans. I have ADHD. It's really bad. Sometimes I completely forget plans. But if a month goes by and you don't hear me talk about it again, please remind me. Because I need a reason to not do this again. This was very entertaining. As for what we're gonna call this, let's not rely on isekai specifically. Isekai is one of the things I'd like to do more. Because, you know, a lot of really convoluted possibilities there. But let's... let's just call it Let's Write Poorly. LRP, Let's Write Poorly. Fuck. LWP, Let's Write Poorly. Okay. And I might change it. I might make like a little logo for it when I'm ready to do it again. So yes, as I said, I will be placing this in the Discord for those of you who want to review it, along with the character profiles. And I will also be providing you the question templates that I used to make it. Because I may use this again, but I don't like claim this. Don't ever let me catch you using it. I don't claim that. Just, you know, credit me if you do use it. That's all I ask. That's it, y'all. I don't have the energy for a raid. I'm so hungry. I am so tired. I have not slept more than 5 uninterrupted hours a night for 3 weeks almost. Despite melatonin. So, yeah. Thank you. I'm gonna go now. If you would like to see more of me, this is my last stream of the week because it's the last day of the week. Thank you. But you can find me via these links. If you are on YouTube, you can find me twitch.tv/devilrayray. That's down in the description. Thank you very much. If you want to see more stuff like this. This kind of thing is one of my higher priorities for like highlights and like abridged versions of the video, because I think I can get this down to a half an hour pretty satisfactorily. But I am currently on a break from making highlights because they are a lot of work. Like several hours a day of editing for half an hour, 25-minute video could take 2 to 3 days of editing. Anyway, yeah, next week I will be streaming Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. If you'd like to see me, like to see some more Stalker Gamma Permadeath. If you would like to see the third part of Look Outside. And if you would like to see something else I would be doing for probably Saturday, make sure you hit follow. Or if you're on YouTube, hit subscribe. Remember, one of the best things you can do, one of the most helpful things you can do for me, you know, aside from money, if you can't or don't want to give me money, give me word of mouth. Send my link to someone you think might like it. That's all I ask. That's one of the most helpful things you can possibly do. I've gotten a few audience members from that, and I am eternally grateful. So that's it, y'all. Thank you, everybody, for coming by. You've been absolutely lovely. I want you to have a wonderful, fantastic night. Yes, thank you. Stay warm, stay safe, stay cozy, and most of all, stay sexy. Adios, y'all. Mwah.